Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Media Snack Meets. My name is Tom Denford, co-founder and CEO of ID Comms. And my special guest this week is Brad Moranchek, Senior Director, Global Media at Kimberly-Clark. Hey, guys.
Hello, gentlemen.
Where are you? There you are.
Welcome to Media Snack Meets, where we get to meet the individuals and organizations doing great work to inspire success and drive change through the global media and marketing industry. Because the best are short on time, we ask just 6 questions in 15 minutes. We get to learn what is behind the success, what it takes to make change in the industry, and what the rest of us can learn from that experience. Please subscribe to get alerts of all upcoming guest episodes.
Hello, Brad.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Very good. Very good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Right, you know the format of the show. We're going to crack straight on. Before we've had a few tech gremlins, I think, on our side when we tried to do this the other day. So we'll try again. Right, fingers crossed. For those that don't know you, just share who you are, what you do, and in that role, because you have one of these really interesting, for me, kind of global media lead roles. What is the key to success in a role like yours?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm Senior Director of Global Media at Kimberly-Clark. It is part of a larger global commercial and marketing excellence team here. So there's a number of functions underneath it, media being a key one of it. And we really operate as a center of excellence for the organization on a global level, focused on capability building in media and scaling best practices across the globe. So what our team does, I'd say is a couple things. Like number one is to set the vision in terms of where we need to be going globally as a media organization to help us keep modernizing and getting a more effective return out of our substantial global media investments. As well as then kind of rolling up our sleeves with the local markets, regional teams to help them go further, faster. And then I feel like the third key part of our role is to really stand up what I kind of call our global media spine. So our agency relationships, our joint business partnership relationships, and some of our in-housing tech capabilities that we've built up. Again, and all this work is done with a larger collaborative team, but those are really the focus areas of what me and my team do here at KC.
Good.
So the second part, second part of the question was keys to success, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'd probably put the keys to success, always keep it simple with things in 3, right? So I'd say number 1 is to, we always make sure that we have a strong plan in place at the beginning of the year. And really even by the end of this year. So we're kind of putting the final, touches on our 2024 plan right now. And it's pretty detailed in terms of work streams that we're going to do, goals that we have, measures of success, all those kinds of things. And we create that, not in a vacuum as the global center, but we do it in close collaboration with our regional teams to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of what we really want to accomplish. I think that's the second key part of it is have a good plan, be collaborative in that approach and that plan, understand in particular regional and local nuances, because not everyone is going to be able to move at the same speed everywhere all at once. So it's kind of understanding what does progress and the right types of steps that you want to take in each corner of the globe look like and work towards that plan. And then I'd say the third key thing to success in this role is to really recognize ourselves as the heads up part of the organization. Our local teams, regional teams, under a lot of pressure to deliver the business. Things are always happening. Their heads down, focused on delivering plans. Our team's job is to kind of be heads up and see things kind of coming down the road before they do, and have action plans to work against those. And even things that come up, rather spontaneously. And I think there was a real-time example of this last week when the report from Analytics came out about Google's search network extensions, and our team was able to be heads up the moment that happened, notify all of our teams around the world what was happening. And because we've actually in-house some of our global relationship with Google and have access to data, we were able to see all of the campaigns on an individual level that were live around the globe that were utilizing that. And there weren't many because it's not a core part of our strategy, but we were able to work with the local teams very quickly to get those turned off. So that's, I think, is the third key part, is being that heads up part for the global.
I love this. This is turning into a bit of a masterclass, isn't it, Brad? About how to run a global kind of center. Really good. I mean, if you're listening to this, or you're watching this, you're listening back to this, go slowly through that first answer, because a lot of things you need to know about how to run a global media organization are right there. You've already getting a sense as a listener of Brad, of your passion and enthusiasm for the media industry that we work within. But tell me, what is it that really excites you about media? What's the best thing about working in media? And I love to know, what's something that you've worked on either at Kimberly-Clark or previously that you're most proud of in media over your career?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of things, and I love this question. And what's funny about it for me is that, I've been in media for a pretty long time. In fact, I was able to study it at college. There was an advertising track within the University of Wisconsin, and there was a media class, or a couple of them within the school. And I knew right away when I was in those classes, like, this is what I love doing. It was that whole idea of kind of blending art and science together, right? And coming up with strategies to connect with consumers. And what I love about this field is that the fundamental job of what media hasn't changed in all that time. Find the right person at the right time in the right place with the right message, and try to get it at the best cost possible, right, for the maximum return. But what's changed so dramatically over time, like within that job, is our ability to actually do it. And it's in ways that, like, I would have never been able to anticipate when I first got into this business. It's like the data signals that media gives off now are so robust, and our ability to do precision targeting and deliver personalized messages, on a level that was just not even really possible, even just going back even a few years. So to see that evolution has been awesome, and I think that's my favorite thing. And just to build on that a little bit too, it's like, I think a statement that I've thought about and I've said internally a little bit that to me reflects the changes. It used to be, what does my business strategy say that my media approach should be? And now we're kind of learning, like, what does my media activation say that my business strategy might be, right? Because we're able to get so many, real-time signals in terms of what consumers are engaging with, clicking on. And sometimes it surprises us in terms of the insights that we get out of it and the ways that we then can kind of pivot to activate from there. Yeah,
it's very good. And tell us something fun that you've worked on that you're proud of.
Yeah,
campaign or an idea or product.
Yeah, there's so many things. I mean, I guess I'll keep it high level and just say that in terms of thing that I'm most proud of, and have enjoyed doing the most. I mean, it has been my time here at Kimberly-Clark, and again, I've had great experiences throughout my career, and like been part of some really awesome sponsorship opportunities and integrations and all kinds of stuff that, from a media perspective, wins awards and gets a lot of recognition. But I'd say the thing I'm most proud of has just been the way that we've been able to really transform the culture around media here in the time that I've been here, where when I first got here in 2015, this was very much a highly traditional CPG in terms of the way that we went to market. And it was, TV dominant, like maybe with a little bit of, digital kind of, or print or something kind of sprinkled on top of it. And we basically flipped that entirely. And our organization is excited about that, right? And so I think the fact that we've been able to drive enthusiasm for the field and appreciation for the opportunities that now exist within media from a cultural standpoint, and do that, like, while the ground was consistently and continually shifting under our feet at the same time, is what I'm most proud of.
Very good. Love that. A lot to learn from that as well. So challenges for us in your role and your team's role with this, as you said, like, eyes up, looking widely at the horizon of the global media industry. You get to see a lot. When you're reporting back to your leadership, what's the biggest challenge that you kind of highlight to them, that as a business that you need to be more aware of or to counter in the future? What do you think is the thing that concerns you most?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things in this area, right? To say the least. You know, I'm going to take the approach of, I think that the biggest challenge still remains like the biggest opportunity. Especially as a CPG, and I recognize like others in the industry might be in different places, but I've certainly been able to talk to, a lot of peers on the CPG side and folks in my role. And that's, I think, like truly getting to agile activation. I mean, to me, that is like, it's been there for a while, like everyone wants to get there. But, there's so much muscle and process and history and, and structure and operating model, like, and all those kinds of things that still kind of make it, it's kind of like, well, we do our annual plan and then there's budget cuts and we spend a lot of time talking about what to do with the money coming in or what to do with money coming out. And we kind of live in that time frame of like looking kind of far ahead or looking far back and kind of saying, well, what did the MMM tell us or the MTA tell us, and making adjustments from there, and not as much time like actually really operating in the moment, because every day that media is active, whether through programmatic and social and connected TV and search and everything that we're doing, retail media, there's all these beautiful signals kind of coming off that can teach us about how the media is performing. And it still remains, I think, a challenge for teams to really get there and to spend more of their time living in today and last week than living, a couple months ahead or looking a couple months behind.
Good. I always appreciate your optimism, Brad, but it's not false optimism. I mean, it's just really grounded, because I think there's a lot of us that work in the media industry. I'm sure that people will sympathize with the perspective where, sometimes it just feels a bit overwhelming, right? So many challenges. And if you're a media leader, and I hear from other media directors, there's so many things you have to be expert on everything. And how do you know what to prioritize on? And it really is it's a true test of kind of strategic thinking and strategic leadership, media. And sometimes you need to hear someone like you, Brad, says, this is great. It's all going to be fine. It's all going to be okay. It's good. It's good for business. Actually, it's good for business. Which leads me maybe nicely. Just, as you said, you've worked in the industry a little while, and you've worked with some amazing brands over the years and some big leaders. What's a piece of leadership advice that somebody gave you that you still carry, or maybe something that you found that's really effective, with the people, with your teams of people that you work with?
Yeah. I would say it wasn't, I don't know if it was a piece of advice, but it was a way of working that a leader that I had once, like, really impacted me like no other leader I've worked with. Again, I've worked with some great ones. So I'm not, there was I've learned a lot of things from a lot of people along the way. But I'd say the one that I probably apply the most was like this particular leader, told me at one point, said, hey, remember, like, you're the expert in what you do. I work for you. You don't work for me. Like, my job is to help you get, amplified, let your story kind of come out, help you drive the kind of areas that you feel need to happen. And like that empowerment that she gave me, I mean, just is, I immediately, it was like a light switch, even like in the way that I kind of thought about it with my own team, and said, it's like, and not that I've always felt, good about the way that I treated my team with respect and listen to people and do all those kinds of things. But to really take that mindset of my job overwhelmingly is to be here for them, because when they're empowered, when they have, when they know that it's like, it's their ideas that drive things, that those will get championed, that I will help those things find an audience. And when they know that I'm here to help them realize that potential, not to do projects for me, the amount of like productivity that we've been able to get out of that from our team. I mean, I'm very proud of the way that, I believe we have a team that I like to say kind of punches above our weight in terms of the size that we are within the organization, in terms of the impact that we have. And I think a lot of that is rooted in that philosophy that she taught me, that like these people, that I work for them and my job is to help them go further faster, because like that's how you actually drive more growth within the organization, not just by kind of making it about you and your agenda.
Very good. That I love. I love. I always like learning these leadership quotes, but I use that as well. Somebody said that to me. So I really feel that's very powerful. Okay, outside of media, Brad, all this keeps you very busy. I know it keeps you very busy.
Yeah.
But to switch off, to relax, where would we find you outside of the media industry?
I would definitely be out on a golf course to relax. That is one of my favorite things to do. Just in terms of, it was like kind of a later discovery in my life, I think, to realize like, wow, there's like a nice, quiet, peaceful place to go out. And athletically, when you're starting to get a little bit older and everything's kind of getting worse, I'm like, hey, there's something I might actually be able to get better at. So that's one thing, but I'd say like my true like passion outside of work is music. I've just always been a music person, like ever since I was a little kid. It's always resonated with me. I love all different. I don't play any instruments. I certainly can't sing, but just like I am able to to dig into new music, old music, listen to it dozens of times, find new things out of it, pull new information, new inspiration. It just is something that really, really resonates with me. And one of the coolest experiences I had around it lately too was I took my son and we went and saw the Talking Heads Stop Making Sense reissue in IMAX, and like watching him sort of like appreciate or learn about a music that he'd never heard before, but I had kind of grown up with. And then now we kind of have that in common whenever we hear that band on the radio, and he has a different appreciation for them. And we're just watching of what that was, which was all these different people with different talents coming together to make something greater than the sum of the parts, right? Which is kind of really what it's all about. And I think that's why I love music, is because you can unpack it in so many different ways and see how these things come together to make something great.
Love it. Very good. If we had longer, we'd go into all the different analogies of the inspiring media teams as well. Very good. Love that. So just wrapping up. So as I know, you've always got your eyes kind of far down the road, and you're looking at the horizon, and you're well-connected global media leader, and you see the challenges that we've got as an industry, as you've mentioned. But thinking ahead, 12 months from now, what should we have focused on? What could we have achieved? What could be better? Where would you love us to be a year from now, further down that road?
Yeah, I'll answer that question in two ways. I think one, I'll talk about inside KC and our priority for next year, and one that I've been thinking about for the industry, which is maybe when I talk about it will seem kind of obvious, but to me it's like sometimes the obvious things get overlooked. So internally for us, it's really going to be about really making just even more of those personalized connections through media. We like to say data activated, not just data driven. So again, all around the world, different teams have different challenges and opportunities with that. And our job is going to really be to roll up our sleeves with them and get the most out of those things. Again, I think we're pretty good right now, but there still is room for step change in a lot of places, especially I think the way that we're able to bring media and creative together to be more impactful. Externally, my biggest hope for the industry is that there's been some momentum behind it. I still think that there needs to be more, but I think one of the most critical areas of advertising that doesn't get enough attention is that, I don't think people are looking at where their stuff is actually running as much as they should. And we've seen this year with, the ANA and the programmatic report and the MFA sites and things. And, we have such large investments going into places like, programmatic. And, but if you were to ask any, brand person or even sometimes media people, even on their, maybe even an agency partner, say, well, what are the top 10 sites that we're running on? They wouldn't even know the answer. Yeah. And I think that there just needs to be more focus and attention on the quality of the experience that we're delivering. Yes, ROI matters. ROI is important, but also really thinking about the consumer experience that we're delivering and being in places that, are good to support the business and help drive results for the brand. So that would be my hope, is that attention and quality continue to get more attention versus just ROI.
Great. Love that. Great. Brad Moranchek, Senior Director, Global Media, Kimberly-Clark. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Who would you like to meet on future episodes? Please let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to the Media Snack channel, where you will also find previous guests, including leading marketing executives from companies like P&G, Uber, LVMH, Mars, IKEA, and many more. Plus, some of the industry's most provocative thought leaders, such as Belinda Smith, Sir Martin Sorrell, Wendy Clark, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Professor Mark Ritson. You can also get alerts to hear about upcoming new guests. If you liked this episode and think someone else would, then please share it. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.